homophobia does exist at Dickinson.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that homophobia exists at Dickinson.
Yes.
Yes. It definitely exists at Dickinson.
Yes, it does.
Exists probably everywhere.
It feels like a lot of the guys here really haven't grown up since like elementary, middle, and high school when it was cool to call people gay.
It manifests itself every time someone talks about sexuality or someone talks about gender, and they have to overtly state that they are or not, that they're not gay.
In English classes, people complain all the time that professors are insensitive to their sexual orientation, so they'll ask them to describe their ideal mate, and if they're talking about their ideal mate and using the wrong gender assignment for the terms, the professor will correct them. And when
Gay prom, people were making fun of the flyers. There's really a lot of apathy in terms of GLBTQ issues and stuff, and people always say, oh, that's gay, and in many ways that can be really offensive to people. So.
People saying things like, oh, I don't want to be friends with that person because they're gay or bisexual.
I had one kid who was in one of my classes, was sitting next to him in class, and the professor stepped out of the room for a second, and he turned to me and he said, isn't Professor so-and-so isn't he so gay? He sounds gay.
Yeah, just jokes all the time about people who are homosexual.
I just think in general a lot of our comedy, whether it's Mr. Dickinson or even some of the run with it things, they rely on the fact that homosexuality is funny.
And then there was two girls making out at a party one time, and these guys just went crazy, and it's just really ignorant.
I've definitely heard some negative comments towards homosexuals.
It goes from the smallest things of telling somebody, you faggot, get out of here, which caused one of my closest friends to drop out of college two credits away from graduation. And it goes as far as having to ask your sorority or fraternity if it's okay to bring a same-sex partner to a formal or to an event or to anything.
Image of the ideal nuclear family gets promoted as the best means to keep our country safe and to keep America functioning.
The images that we see are very they're very hetero. They're very gender. They're very defined based on what our society wants to see.
I used to be a homophobe myself, so I came out at the beginning of this year. I'm on the basketball team as well, so I experience the locker room language and what athletes say.
I would say pretty much that gays like every guy and lesbians like every girl, so they just, people just want to avoid that, just they don't really want to get caught up or wrapped up in that type of stuff.
I feel like men feel threatened by it for some reason because for some reason every guy's so sure that if a gay guy sees him, they'll hit on him because that's that much of the shit. And but the fact is, don't give yourself that much credit. B, if they do, you just say, I'm sorry, I'm straight, and most people will understand.
homosexuality gets perceived as a threat to masculinity, and we protect masculinity like at any price. I mean, you bomb our buildings, we bomb your country. Really, anyone who challenges like gender norms or like transgresses like sexual boundaries is going to be a threat to like a system of power that has been really comfortable.
All a matter of like getting to know people and like understanding people who are different from you.
People feel that there's nothing to address, and if people aren't talking about the fact that there's certain people on campus who don't feel safe expressing their sexuality, there's certain people on campus who don't feel safe just in general, just for multiple reasons. The fact that people aren't comfortable talking about things like that shows that they themselves are in need of conversation. They're in need of expressing why they feel that way.
I know like when the whole queer caps thing like came out as well, like people just had a lot of things to say in terms of like homosexuality.
The queer caps are a secret society.
And it's evident that the queer caps are students that are either advocating for queer rights or trying to tear down traditions and establishments that perpetuate homophobia, gender, racism.
It's both something that is dead serious, but also like doesn't take itself nearly as seriously as some of those other hat societies do.
How can we be present? How can we make this campus aware that they are people that care about queer rights and
speak up? That's what I'm gonna do.